Hello Flosstube, welcome back to my wee world. This is a channel about cross stitch, a little bit of quilting and sharing some of the vintage treasures and finds that I gather along the way. My name is Martina for any of you new to this channel, and I'm a cross stitch designer under the name Expanding Stitches on Etsy, and I'm also on Instagram as well as here. So let me see, what have I done in the last 2 weeks? Well, I went and tidied up my long arm room, and that moved everything all over my home, sorting out. So then I moved into my office and started clearing out that, and then I reorganized a lot of my cross stitch pieces into different areas and different boxes. So I'm quite pleased. It now feels like it's a lot more organized rather than just shoved in cupboards whenever people come to visit, so that it's out of sight, but then you can't find anything afterwards. So I've done a little bit of stitching. I've done more designing than stitching. I sent off a custom chart to a lady in the States for her son's wedding. I'm waiting on a reply from her. I'm not sure if she likes it. It's not finished yet, but it's just to give her an idea along the topic that she wanted. So we'll see how that goes, if she likes it or not. And then I've also started preparing a couple of designs for St. Patrick's Day. And I've started laying out the grid and taking a close look at the antique sampler that I showed in video 2. If you want to go back and take a look at that, please do. Thank you so much for all your comments on the video and on Instagram. I've read everyone and tried to reply to everyone as well, and it's really lovely reading them. Thank you so much, and for all your support. It's really, really kind, and it's a brilliant community. So I got a little bit of stitching done this week as well. I had said in video 2 that I really liked from the Winds of Autumn book. I really liked the picture October 31st. So I decided to, that book's Winds of Autumn is by Blackbird Designs. I mentioned it in the other video as well. And I decided to have a little bit of fun and stitch 1 over 1. So I had this glittery, I think it's a Swigart opalescent fabric. Now the lighting, it's evening here, it's after 7:30 in the evening, so it's all artificial light, so it might be a little bit washed out in this video. I realized I'm probably better off filming during the day rather than have a dozen different lights on, and for some reason it still looks a bit washed out, but not to worry, you live and learn. But this is the opalescent fabric. It's a 32 count one. I think it's called Copper Sparkle or Copper Glitter. And I've started stitching it. So it's 32 count and I've started stitching it 1 over 1. Let me just put a piece of paper behind so that you can see. It's still in the little hoop that I have. I'll just tilt to the side here. So it's 1 over 1. So it is quite tiny when you look. But I think it's going to be cute, so I've just got to go up and go across this top there to finish up some of that. But I'm using DMC. Let's see if you can see a little bit of the green. Mightn't be showing so well at this time of night. It's like a hunter's green in there. I'm using DMC for, 1 second, I've got it here. DMC 4522 to stitch it, just for the fun. I had it in my stash. Now let me see if I can get, okay. Oh, it's looking really, that's a little bit better. Okay, so you can see some of the colors and you can just about see, hopefully now that, yeah, the kind of a hunter's green color that's blended in through it. So it's sort of browns and purples and green. There you go. And it's coming out really cute, I think. So yeah, I did a fair bit of that during the week, and I'm using this old hoop that I picked up in a charity store. It's one of the ones that's got the little spring clasps on it, and it's quite handy because what I've realized is that I've tried stitching in hand, and when it comes to binding on a quilt and stuff, I can really go really quickly, and I've got very fine stitches in binding. But I've seemed to like a little bit of tension on when I'm hand stitching, or stitching in hand. So I suppose it's technically not stitching in hand, but I have it a little bit looser in this little hoop. So I can actually do the sewing method if I want to. I just push my finger up underneath, and I can do the sewing method if I want to, or I can ease it. But it's just, I just find it a little bit easier to hold with a small little hoop, or you could use a little Q-snap as well, which I'll show. I've got the next little piece. But that's where I am with October 31st. And I'm not sure, I'll finish it into a little circle. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put it in a little frame or whether I'll make it a little cushion, but I just think it's cute. And that fabric is fun. As I said, that's the only little scrap that I had, and I just thought, oh, it's fun. But 1 over 1 does slow you down. I have a magnification lamp, so that helps. And also a Lowry stand, which I really like. I have one stand upstairs and I have a different stand downstairs for bigger pieces. But yeah, I've been stitching this up in bed actually before I go to bed, listening to a movie or an audio book, and throw in a couple of stitches every night. But I haven't been rushing through it because I also wanted to do another start. So there's no finishes this week. There's just a few whips, as they say. So the next one, I showed this chart last week or 2 weeks ago in my last video, and that's the Prairie Schooler Birdsong number 1. And it's got the main chart and little ones along this. So I started stitching this up, and it's still, forgive it, it's still on the Q-snap, but I didn't want to take it up. So I've just started along the border. Now I changed the greens because I decided to use up some of my anchor threads that I have here. Anchor is really popular. It's probably the most popular over in Germany that you can find in the stores. And I had bought some before, and I just decided, well, I want to keep the DMC for my own charts that I design. And I thought, well, I'll use up some of the anchor. And I'm stitching this on Jobelin. I think it's 18 count. I must take, no, so 28 count. That's what it is. 28, not Jobelin, Lugana. 28 Lugana. It's one of the pre-cuts. I should have brought the packet in. And for beginners, I'll try and zoom in. If you look at Lugana, this is my first time stitching on Lugana. But I'll go right in as close as I can. See how regular the stitches are. So if you are an Ada fan and thinking of switching to another type of even weave, now linen is also an even weave, but if you were thinking of switching to try one, I would definitely recommend Lugana, because I found it so simple to see and to use. Whereas linen, if you look, it can be a little bit more daunting to beginners because they find it quite tricky understanding the, well, same with Lugana, the 2 over 2, but the threads, it probably won't show because of the glitter. The threads on linen can be uneven. You can, well, slightly different thickness, rather than uneven is the wrong word, but slightly different in thickness. You can have a really skinny one, you can have a fattish little one. So for beginners, it's a little bit trickier, but give it a go anyway. It's fun to try. So that's where I am. So I've just got the top little bit popped in, and I'll keep on going. So I'm there, just along the top. And now I'm going to move down to the writing, and then I'll continue on with the birds. So that's the Prairie Schooler Birdsong 1, and I think it'll be quite nice. So that green is anchor 856 actually. That green, I don't know if it's showing up, and the dark green I'm using is 269, anchor 269, instead of the call for DMCs. So that's where I've been with my whips. And as I said, I've been doing some charts for St. Patrick's Day. I'm just looking down at my notes here just so that I don't lose track. A little bit of haul, not very much, tiny little amounts. One super cute find that I'll show you in the vintage sort of little section later on. The lady that I had put an order through from for some weeks' dye works, these weren't available at the time, so she forwarded them on to me. And it's Weeks Dye Works Okefenokee. Okefenokee? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And it looks black. It's a green. Okay, maybe if I go... No, that won't help in this light. It doesn't look as green. Maybe if I go up close, you can see it's oh yeah, that's not too bad. It's a kind of a darkish green. Yeah, you're getting a little bit of the tint of it there on the end. Okay, so you'll see a little bit of it, but it's very pretty. So I've got 2 little skeins of that to try out, which is nice. And I picked up on eBay actually just one little vintage spool. It's not very tall, as you can see. I think it's one of the old looms because it's got the old edge and it's got a gold thread on it, and it's just, or I won't be using the thread, but it's really old and vintage, and it was only a couple of euros. The postage was nearly as much as the little spool, but I just think it's cute, so I'll just pop it back with my other little spools. So that's that. As I said, I'll talk about my bigger find a little bit later on. The next thing is, what else have I got? Now I'm just checking here, the little spool that. Oh, I did actually find this, and I thought this would be an idea for anyone, and I'm definitely going to use it. I was in a drugstore. I had to just pick up a couple of shampoos and things, and I happened to go by there where they have like a photo service where you can get your photos, send them off, get them made into little books and things over here. And they had them next to the batteries and little frames and things. And I came across this, which is a magnetic little poster board. Now that brand is sort of typical in Germany. It wouldn't necessarily be available everywhere, but the idea I think would be really useful for finishing. And this is a little mini one. It's only a couple of centimeters. 15 by 20. Yeah, 15 by 20, I think it is. Oh no, 20 by 2 by 0.9 or something. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's about 20 centimeters. But this is the top bit, and this is the bottom bit. And they actually have the little poster bit in the middle. Oh, I'll just turn that around. It's just a picture of a cat or something in there. And actually looked at that little charts and things that came in with it. I won't actually be using those, but they're magnetic, and it's even got the little hanging piece. I think this one's varnished, but inside you've got little magnets. Now you could easily make your own, though that wasn't expensive. So by the time you'd even get the magnets, you'd be paying that and the little bit of wood. But the 2 little pieces just clip together. And then the same on the top. They've got the hanging bit on one side, and it just clips together. And I was thinking you could do something like, I'll just test it out with this piece of paper. Well, the paste paper might be a bit thick. Well, it's supposed to work for cardboard. But yeah, like a finishing frame. So this is just a comic board. And I'll just pop them together like this. Bear with me. Getting there. Okay, it's not even in straight, but you'll get the idea. And you could hang it up. And okay, that's a little bit big, but they could be as small or as large as you want it. And it would be quite cute, especially if you put felt on the back of your piece or quilted it, or even did a, you know, a matte board finish just to hang it up. And then you could swap them out. And they're quite, one moment, they're quite strong. I'm not sure they'd cover, they'd be good if there was a lot of wadding in there, but these ones are, yeah, quite useful. So that's just a little tip and a little finishing option I thought might be worth passing on, an idea I had, and I think I'll finish it. And I guess you could paint them as well if you wanted to. Now I know you can get the gigantic ones for proper really big posters. There was just something so cute about the little mini one that I really liked. So I thought, pass on the tip. And yeah, you might find that useful. I hope you do. If you do, pop a comment down below if you like it, or message me on Instagram, or leave a post, and I'll be happy to see it. It'll be fun. So that's this. And then I got the sweetest gift from my dearest friend, Mary, who's in the UK. She's my quilting wing woman, you could say, best friend with quilting and cross stitch and everything. We actually met in person. We got to know one another online, and we met in person at the Festival of Quilts. And that's a whole story about making some gift quilts that I'll tell another time, with a group that I started up on Facebook, which is where the name came from, Expanding Stitches. It's a private group at the moment, but I am opening up another one for all my friends out there in the world, and all the people that I don't know yet that I will get to know. And she's made me a little neckerchief, and it's crocheted, and it's in, oh yeah, the green does show up lovely. It's just absolutely beautiful. So this was my birthday present, Christmas present. And it's so fine and delicate, and I absolutely love it. Really, really gorgeous. And it's the softest yarn. It's beautiful. So you can just wear them like, I might have to go back a little bit here on this rolly chair. You could wear it like a little neck scarf. You can wrap it around that way. You could tie it, or you can just wear it. It's like a little neck covering that would be great in a jacket, and it's warm and cozy, but it's not too bulky. It's fine. So you could wear it in it with a jumper or a blouse or anything, and I just think it's beautiful. And she sent me a book as well to read, so that she really liked. So yeah, this is just a thanks for the absolutely beautiful gift. She also made me an amazing crochet throw for the sofa in all my living room colors, which I must show you another time. Actually, that would be one for treasures. So that's my gift from my dear friend Mary, and yeah, she'll probably murder me for mentioning her here, but it meant the world. So okay, that's that. Right, tidying up and sorting. Yeah, tidying up and sorting out. I briefly mentioned it. What I wanted to do this week was, in my haul, I had two of those sort of flat pack box things that you can sit on that are cushioned on the top. And in there I was storing part of my selection of beads and buttons and from antique collections that I bought and I've collected over the years. And I really wanted to get them up on shelves, so where I could find them, because every time I wanted to go to find a bead and see if it worked with a piece of fabric or a finishing, or it was pull them all out and they were all on top of one another. And I thought, okay, I'm going to sacrifice a couple of books, because I've bookshelves all the way along that way, which is the main part of my office, and I've got some books there, and then other workbooks and stuff for my day job too. And I decided, no, I'm going to get rid of some books and pass them on, and I'm going to make some space for my little jars of beads and things. So you can see some of them just up there, which means there. And they actually go all the way down here, but they're quite deep and they go over another little shelf. But it's just an idea. I got these jam jars 2 years ago. And of course, with the idea, I was going to pretty them up with a little fabric lid. And I just store beads in them. And I bought a lot. I got them on the, the website that we all use on Amazon. I think I got 50 of them for a really low amount. And some of them I've actually given to people to use for jam that needed jam jars. But I decided to get the bigger ones. So these are just wooden beads that I have in this one. And this one, I've got a collection of little Christmas bells. This one has got some vintage mother of pearl buttons in there, which are really, really pretty. And these are some yellow buttons that I've got that I just collected and whatever. So you might think that's not a lot of space in a jar for that size, but I have 2 big baskets downstairs where I'm sorting the buttons by color. And it's still a work in progress to go through those and sift them all out and put them. So I'm going to have things like a jar for yellow, a jar for blue, a jar for red. So then if I'm looking for a certain button, then I can just open the jar, dump them out onto a tray, and then scoop them and put them all back in again. So it's quite fun, but yeah, you get there's some really cute little ones. I love vintage buttons. Like, look at this little one. It's not old, but it's just unusual. Like, it's a little button like that, but then on the back, it's kind of all crocheted. So there's cute, and just, you never know when you can find use for these little things. Like, look at this little one. It's like a little chariot. Oops, might be able to focus in. Yeah, it's a little horse and chariot. So anything unusual, and I just find them in charity shops. I was lucky that I won an auction about 5 years ago from a dressmaking, obviously an older lady possibly that had passed away. And I won an auction where it was a myriad of old scissors, old tools, a sewing basket, one of the accordion ones. And it was full of everything. And it took a lot of work sorting everything out. It came in a big, big box. But there were loads and loads of vintage buttons, and some of them are beautiful. But I haven't sorted them all out into the jars yet. There's quite a few sorted out, but it's an ongoing process. Maybe I should suggest a kind of a pajama party or something like that with a couple of bottles of wine and get friends to sort buttons into colours. It would be something new. Who knows? But so that's just a tip I find quite, if you've got the space. I mean, if you've only got a couple of beads and buttons, or you only need one thing, then yeah, fine. But it is kind of handy, and you can get smaller little jars as well, and they don't have to be this big size. They're quite handy, and you could stick them in a drawer, and then you've got them sorted by color, and or if you really want to sort by size or whatever, might be an idea. I don't know. So oh yeah, a little thank you to Deb and Liz again. I know I've mentioned them in every video, but I was bawling like a baby when their last video, so the last video went up, or the one before, it was when they're stitching together, I think, yeah. They called me out on there and showed the chart, Santa's Greatest Gift, that I designed, and yeah, it was amazing. And I know that some of you that have subscribed found me from them, and thank you very much. And I hope anyone that's purchased Santa's Greatest Gift enjoys stitching in as much as I do. I haven't worked on it in the last 2 weeks. I'm getting back to it now because I've got my goal for having it finished by July. So I'm going to just finish off the last tree and a little bit of snow and the snowflakes, and I'll be delighted with that. And if you want to see it, go back to watch Country Stitches. I'll try and link them again. I didn't figure out getting the links active on the last description video box and the video for video 2, but I'll keep at it and see if I can learn how to do that. Oh, and that was fun because the last video I stopped filming because I was waffling on a little bit, and I realized that the phone had split the video into 2. So there was me saying, oh, I'm not going to do any editing, you know, whatever. Well, I had to, because I had to piece it back together again. And then piecing it back together again, well, the second half, the audio went out of sync. So yeah, that was fun, but I managed to get it pieced back together. So I'm hoping this video won't be quite as complicated, but you never know. That's all part of the fun. So, okay. Oh yeah, actually I didn't mean to this. I've just noticed my stitching in hand tips. If you, and it falls on the floor. If you've got a Q-tip and you do like stitching, or Q-snap, and you do like stitching in hand, or you think you'd like stitching in hand more so, don't forget you could always loosen this side. Or even take off one side of the Q-snap that you've got the rest of your fabric sort of supported in the other 3 sides, and then you could be holding the fabric on the left side. So that might be handy for people that are used to stitching in hand but don't want to be dealing with a lot of fabric all at once. They'd rather tuck it up around the Q-snap. You could actually just loosen this side up a lot, that you've got the feeling that you're stitching in hand, but you've got a little bit of support. Maybe not on one is quite as big as this, but in a smaller one. Likewise with the hoop. Just an idea. And I mentioned in the second video that I was going to give away 2 copies of Red Roses and Chocolate, which is that design that I released well in time for St. Valentine's Day. It's in my Etsy store. It's a PDF download, and it's only 2 colors. So the giveaway winners for those, I actually did today, and I hunted up how to find the YouTube comment picker, and I did this. So I didn't video it, but I took a picture to show you. So for 2, each person gets 2 people, each person gets 1 PDF copy. So please send me your email addresses. You can contact me by email in the description box, or you can message me on Instagram under Expanding Stitches as well. And once I've got your email address, I'll forward it on to you. Obviously, you need to be over 18 or when you entered, but so the first person is Sandy, and that was her comment. There were 23 unique comments. I typed in Red Roses, and her comment was, your Red Roses in Chocolate is just beautiful, which is really lovely. So Sandy, if you can contact me, that's your YouTube name. And the second winner is, so congratulations. Oh, the coloring's gone a bit funny on the video. Okay, well, we'll find out when I upload it. The next lady is Mary Kemp. So thank you very much, Mary, for entering. And your comment was, Red Roses in Chocolate is beautiful. I'm kind of new to cross stitching. Really enjoy the antique sampler as well. So congratulations to you both, Mary Kemp and Sandy. Please send me your email address and I'll forward the PDF on to you. And the lady won an Instagram as well, and I forgot to write down her name. I've already sent her off the PDF chart. And I mentioned it in one of the comments too on the post that I put up on Instagram. There weren't very many entries for that, so she did really well. It's good. So thank you, ladies. That's lovely. I'm delighted for you. So let me think. Anything else that I can think of before I finish this up with my latest vintage purchase, vintage find really. And I've got another one I've just purchased this week, but it's going to get shipped and it'll probably take a while to come. You could say it's a piece of furniture plus, but I'll leave that for another video. So this, and thanks to my dear friend Andy, who drove me to go and collect it and see it and put it in the back of his car, and we lugged it home. It is a vintage, anyone following me on Instagram will have seen it already, the posts that I put up. I think I put it up in Instagram, or maybe I put it into cross stitch storage ideas on Facebook. I'm part of that group, and that's fun to see how people store their cross stitch charts. I can ask me a question and I can give you the link of which exactly the Facebook group it is. I can't look it up at the moment because it's on my phone that I'm filming on. But I think it's cross stitch storage ideas, something like that. So this is what I purchased, and it is hang on one second. Nope, not that one. There you go. It's a vintage kind of office filing cupboard. I just got it on here, but it's got a roller. Sorry about the glare. You're getting a bit of reflection of lights there, but it's a vintage. There, I've got lights beaming across. It's a vintage cupboard for stationery. It would have been used for in files, and it's got the roller drawer on it, and it's just so cute. It needs a little bit of sanding, and it needs, that's it from the side. There you go, just the side of it. It's got the cutest little circular feet down at the bottom. It's not on wheels, it's all wood. And the door works. The key wasn't available, but I've taken the little lock mechanism out, and then I'm sure I'll be able to get, or the bottom part, so that it doesn't lock on me and I can't open it. I'm sure I'll be able to find a key in the future, or get one made. So that's my latest treasure, you could say, and I'm delighted with it because I want to store my DMC lying flat like a storage, so I can see the full set of DMC. I might have to put the colorless and some of the variegated on, hanging loops. They might not fit, but for designing, I just wanted to be able to see them flat, because my wall where my curtain rails are at the moment, I've decided to keep that for the hanging threads like Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colorworks. So, and any additional DMC I have in a little tub with more skeins than there. But that, for doing a floss toss when I'm designing, it gives me an idea if I use like a Weeks Dye Works or a Classic Colorworks. I can pull out the DMC skein to see what the closest color is, and just test it on a little scrap of fabric to see what could be the closest, because I've found some of the conversion charts aren't always exactly. They and I tried to, in my charts, I try to get them as close a feel that will work together at least, and if it can't be identical, then at least it works in the way the colors flow together. So I'm delighted with that. That's my pride and joy. At the moment it's sitting in the hall. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it or which corner I can put it in. And I just bought some photo matte board to just line the shelves, because I'm going to be putting the floss on them, and it's acid free. I don't want to paint it. I want to actually just sand it and put, as one lady suggested actually under my post, put a matte varnish on it would be nice, so that it's not too shiny, and I think it'd be really pretty. But yeah, so that's my little vintage treasure. It's obviously too big to lug up and show you here in the camera, but you get an idea anyway. So is there anything else? No, I think that's pretty much it for the moment. Giveaway winner is done. Yeah. So yes, if you did enjoy the video, thank you very much for watching, and please do leave a comment and like and subscribe. I love reading your comments, and it's nice to connect with you as well. So until the next time, in another 2 weeks, and maybe when I get a little bit more used to and less nervous, I think I'm taking less deep breaths as I go along, I'll be able to do them a little bit more regularly than every 2 weeks, but we'll see, slow and steady. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Keep safe, happy stitching, and look after yourselves. Bye for now. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.